Hey guys, Andrew here. This is a 6-month review of my BMW E90 320i. It's a 2008 model, and as I said, I've had it for a bit over 6 months now. So I thought I'd do an updated review just to help anyone that's looking at purchasing an E90 in Australia, or in particular a 320, and just let you know how it handles, how it's taken to Australian conditions. Specifically, I guess, and yeah, what I like about it, what I don't like about it. I'll try to be as unbiased as as unbiased as I can, as I do with any reviews that we do, and just go over all the details, what's been good with the car, what hasn't been, and so on. So I'll switch the camera around, and then we'll go over the car. Right. Well, if you're still here after that incredibly awkward intro, then here's the car. Now this is a BMW individual spec, so it's got a couple of different things that ordinary E90s may not have in the model lineup, or that they didn't come with as standard. First example of this, when you're looking at the car, is the paint color. I don't know what it's called, but I do really like the black, the darker color paint, and there's also a bit of black accenting, which I'll see if I can show you here. Goes along the window trim here, and particularly with the tint that it's got. Yeah, it looks quite nice. I think it keeps the car a bit more modern. Lots of the E90s, I believe, that were released, or almost all the E90s that were released, had chrome trim. Which does look quite nice too. I think it just looks a little bit sort of more outdated. This design also continues in the interior, where I'll show you in a second, but we've got piano black trim, which is quite rare in these. And you know, a couple of extra things like that. Okay, so this car has the xenon headlights, which were an optional extra. I don't know if you can see here, that flashing is just from the camera, so obviously in real life it's not doing that. So it's got the halo lights. It's had aftermarket bulbs put in. In reality, they look quite decent. The light's quite good at night, no issues with visibility. The only thing I will say is I've had to replace, in the 6 months that I've owned it, I've had to replace the headlight bulb once, and I'm still waiting on a replacement bulb for this side. As you can see, the halo light's out. Now ordinarily that wouldn't be too much of a problem, but as I found out, you actually have to take the wheel arch apart and the wheel off to be able to change the headlight globes. So I don't know if that's part of, I guess, getting a more modern car nowadays. I'm still sort of stuck back in the 90s with some of the cars that I've had, but yeah, I'm used to being able to just change the light bulb. So I will admit that is quite annoying, trying to get to it. It can take quite a long time, and yeah, it can drive you nuts. I don't know if the standard non-xenon headlights have that issue or not, but that's just something that I've had to deal with, and something you might want to keep in mind. Alright, I'll go around. I'll do a quick walk around of the vehicle as best I can. I've got to be a bit careful because I'm on a road here. Now, considering this is a 2008 model car, I think personally I really like the look of it. I don't think it looks that old at all, and as I said, a couple of the accenting bits that came with the car do help, but I wouldn't call it yeah, I definitely wouldn't call it old. Hey guys, as you might be able to tell, it's not as sunny outside at the moment, and it's actually the next day. I ended up getting a lot of calls yesterday, and then my phone was getting flat, and a whole heap of stuff happened. So I thought, you know what, you've seen the outside of the car. What we'll do is I'll post up a couple of pictures of the interior, and then we'll go for a bit of a drive together, and I'll just tell you about how the car's been, and what I like about it, and what things I think could be a little bit better, and just some things to look out for if you're going to purchase one of these cars. Now I've had it for 6 months. All right. So you guys get an alright view there. Now taking off. As you can tell, it's a bit wet and rainy today. So one of the first things that I quite like about the car, it's got automatic windscreen wipers, and they're on at the moment, so I'm not going to touch the windscreen wipers at all as we're doing the trip, and after that you'll be able to see them operating. It's also got automatic headlights, and auto dimming high beam lights as well. I do find, I don't know if it's the sensor particularly in this vehicle, or if it's just how they are in general. I do find if you come around the corner, you've got another car coming at you, they don't seem to respond very quickly. So if you're sort of using them on a big open road, it's not as bad. A sort of a corner like this, for example, you could end up sort of blinding someone. So they're okay, but in a sense they're a little bit of a gimmick as well. Alright, so on to how the car handles. So we are on a public road, so I'm not gonna do anything too crazy. In terms of speed, it's adequate for around town. It's adequate for the motorway as well, but you're not going to be winning any races, that's for sure. So I believe its 0 to 100 time is quoted at around 8.5 seconds. That's off the top of my head. I don't know how they got that figure. Maybe it's because I'm quite large, or maybe the fuel tank was almost empty, but it feels like it takes a bit longer than that to get to 100. But with that being said, the ride is incredibly smooth, and the suspension in this vehicle is fantastic. So yeah, I'll try and sort of demonstrate it when we're going around the road here, and sort of describe what I'm feeling, I guess, to portray to you guys. But yeah, it really does act in a road with lots of corners, which again we're going to get into in a second. It's almost like a go-kart. The suspension's it's firm, but it's not you know, it's not really hard. So on the firmness of the ride too, lots of these vehicles, if not all of them, came out with run flat tires, which are different to regular tires in the fact that they're designed to sort of, I guess if you get a flat tire, allow you to drive a bit further without having to get out and change the tire. So it can be good if, for example, you know, one of your older sort of teenage kids, they've got their driver's license, and they need to get back from the station at night, and they get back and they've got a flat tire. Something like that could probably be a bit of a lifesaver, so they're quite good in that respect. In terms of ride handling, I've heard some bad things about them, and yeah, in terms of a long distance too, I'd probably want to take a spare with you. So if you're purchasing an E90 and it's got the run flat tires on it, It's great for around town. If you're going to do a long journey, I'll probably look at getting some normal tyres. The ones on here, I can't remember the exact size, but the run flaps have been replaced before I purchased it. But it didn't come with a spare, so I've got a spare sitting in the boot. It does take up a little bit of room, but then again, you know, I think that's probably worthwhile. And then obviously if you do get a flat, then you're sorted. So what else is there? So during the period that I've owned the car, I've had to do a few things to it. A couple of them were just sort of preferential, but a couple of them you know, were maintenance things that came about. So when I purchased the car, I had about 235,000 on it, and now it's got about, oh, it's up to about 248,000. So I've done a service during that time, which is fine. Obviously, you know, that's expected. I've also had to address a few of the plastic pieces, particularly the tray underneath the car was missing a few bolts. I didn't realise, and it actually came loose and started dragging on the road. Thankfully, quite close to home, and I was able to stop, and I actually had tools with me, so that was a fairly easy repair, but it was just a bit annoying. And as a result of that, I also had to drive to Brisbane a few times from Sydney, which is a decent drive from anyone that's done it before would know, or as anyone that's done it before would know. And during one of the drives, the plastic wheel arch at the front, one of the little clips on that broke and started rubbing against the wheel, and I ended up having to replace that. So they're not real big issues. It's just, you just got to be aware. You know, if you're buying a European car like this, they're great. They can be a bit complex. So you know, expect probably a couple more things that you may have to deal with, simply because of the fact that they've got more things to go wrong. Oops. But yeah, without trying to sound really negative, other than that, I haven't really had to do too much. There was the park light, as I mentioned before, and the headlight. I think that was just an unlucky sort of timing thing due to age. The xenon headlights are meant to last quite a long time. So yeah, once I've got the new park light in, I've already got the new xenon in, then that should hopefully last me for as long as I've got the car, in theory. So we're going down a fairly windy road here, as you can see. The speed limit's about 80 k's, and we're doing sort of close to that. And the car's got very little body roll at all. It's quite quiet, very comfortable. Steering is a little bit heavier than what you'd expect in probably a new car, but I actually prefer that. To me, it feels much more planted, for lack of a better term, and it is really nice to drive. So even though it's not a particularly quick car, in terms of a daily driver, I would highly recommend it. Yeah, as long as you're aware that there may be the odd thing that may go wrong. And on that, I guess if you have a bit of mechanical knowledge, or you're happy to jump in and give things a go, providing it's not something dangerous like brakes or something that's going to that could go badly wrong, then if you're willing to jump in and give things a go, you can generally fix most things on the car that go wrong by yourself, unless you're unlucky and you know you got a gearbox fault or something. But there's a lot of aftermarket support for these cars, because they did come out in Europe, UK, and some came out in America, I believe. And there's lots of YouTube videos on how to fix things, and I've done it before. I've gone and had a look at YouTube, and they can be great. It shows you exactly what to do. Another cool thing, if you do look at getting one of these and you decide to get it, there's an app you can get on your phone. Trying to remember, it's called Bimmerlink, I believe. I do have it. I'm not, and I've got no affiliation to it at all. But it's fantastic for diagnosing any error codes at all that come up with a car. You can clear the codes. You can view all the sensor data, and there's a lot more stuff than probably your average user would need to do. But the most important thing is being able to view codes at home, so you know you're not taking it to a mechanic to pay to get the codes diagnosed constantly. Well, sorry, not that you're going to have it constantly, but you know it can add up. All right, I'm aware that the video is probably going on for a little while now, and I could keep going for ages and talking, so I won't force you to endure that. A couple of last bits to go over if you're considering purchasing one of these. You've got this one's got the iDrive system. You'll be able to see it in the photo that I put up of the interior. It's the small screen at the front. And it's controlled by the knob in the a control knob that you turn in the sort of center console area. Works quite well. I think one thing to look for if you're purchasing these is just to make sure that the knob itself, all the functions work, and the screen itself doesn't have any issues. They are known to sort of go bad. I don't know exactly what happens with them, but I've heard that yeah, to get a working one that's in you know the condition that I've got here is fairly rare. So just something to keep in mind. As I said, I can't really fault it. I don't have any issues with it, and it works quite well. It is basic. I mean, it's from 2008, so you've got navigation from 2008. It actually runs off a DVD, so I mean it'd get you out of something in a pinch probably, and it does still work, but it's pretty outdated. And honestly, if you're using your phone and a mount or something, then that's going to do the job. You can control your climate control through that screen, as well as the actual climate control knobs themselves and buttons and whatnot. It works really well. It's got automatic temperature, and you know it adjusts the amount of air coming out of different vents and whatnot, just to keep the temperature quite nice. You can set the temperature, just leave it, just press automatic, and it'll do the rest for you. And that's what I usually do, and I've never had any issues. It works really well. Down below that, you've got CD player. I've used it once just to test it, but other than that, I don't really use it. I use Spotify. And then you've got some buttons down there that you use to control the CD player. They also will control the radio, and you've got a volume knob there. But again, I've rarely used it because you've got a volume control on the steering wheel. So yeah. Other than that, the audio quality in this car is probably about the best I've ever had in any car that I've owned. I've owned an older BMW. It was a 535. The audio quality in that was okay, but what's in this, yeah, I'd rate it. It's pretty good. I don't know if it's because I've got the individual package or not. That's not very common to sort of have, especially on the 3 Series, from what I understand. But yeah, it's quite nice. It's got I believe it's got a subwoofer underneath the front passenger seat, and then I'll be honest, I don't know exactly how many speakers, but yeah, no complaints with that whatsoever. A couple of last things, just while I think of them, that you probably want to look at if you're purchasing the car. The cup holders, I've got the original ones. They work really well. They are known to break in some of the vehicles. So, you know, if you're going to purchase one, probably just, you know, open each one, they spring out, and just check if they're working or not. If not, you can buy replacements easily on eBay or online. And that's another point with these is, I know I mentioned there's aftermarket support, but there's an awful lot of you know, parts that you can buy on eBay, which is generally where I'll sort of look to buy bits, or just online in general, because the cars are quite popular. There's you know, you got stacks of options, whether you want to go and put an OEM part in, or whether you're happy putting an aftermarket one in at like a fifth of the price. Just depends on what it is. You know, if it's something like brakes, you want to be a bit more cautious with what you get. But if it's like a light glove or something, you know, you can generally get away with the aftermarket part. Other than that, the back seats do fold down. Gives you quite a lot of room. I've managed to fit a full-size male push bike in there before, along with the the spare tire, and there was still room left. So not all of them did come with the seats to fold down. I believe it was an option. So if you're wanting to get one with that, just double check. It's pretty easy to tell. You just open the boot, and there's some latches there that you pull, and it'll be pretty obvious. I think almost all but E90s, the ones I've seen anyway, come with a sunroof. Mine's got the clear sunroof. I like it. I have it quite open a fair amount. No issues with that. It works quite well. It's also got a fold-up function, so that you can get a little bit of air in if it's raining. The only thing to look for, I think, with them, if you're purchasing the car, is just make sure that it opens and closes properly, the button functions as it's meant to, and that it's not leaking. That's sort of the same with all sunroofs, so it's not, you know, E90 specific. Yeah, look, that's probably about it. I could go on for ages about little things that the car has. You know, it is well optioned. Again, being the individual spec, it's got probably a few things that, generally speaking, the E90s wouldn't. But you know, because I guess being a BMW, you can generally pick and choose what you want when you purchase the car. So all those little extra things, but I could go on about them for ages, but the car that you're looking at might not have them. So yeah, all I can say basically to sum up the review, having owned it for half a year now, or a bit over that, look, I'd happily recommend anyone to buy one. Just make sure that you really have a proper look at what you're purchasing first. You want to listen to the motor and do all the checks that you would do with a second-hand car. If you're not too mechanically savvy, probably get someone to check it out. You know, you may be lucky and get a fantastic one, or you could be in a world of pain if you get one that's got a lot of issues. So, well, look, I hope that helped. And yeah, if you got any questions, or you got any questions about any of the functions that this car has, feel free to put them in the comments below, and I'll when I get the chance, I'll go through and answer them. But again, that's about it. Alright, thanks guys. I hope this has helped a few people, or even just piqued your interest in the vehicle. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Alright, see you later.